I think I just assumed that was 15. That would be a good guess. Yeah, a little bit. Oh no, not small.
Well, I think running around this about
next month. I think.
What, in the States?
In the States, yeah. Nothing but like staring at llamas.
It is that weird thing that some do, isn't it? They say they show they don't know about technology. What's Africa?
Apparently it was at the venue.
I thought you said that's going to be that'd be a quite good one.
I said it to you once before, and I said it to you. You got flying.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Hey Jude.
Yeah, good to see you again.
How are you? You alright?
Made it, so
Well done, well done. You weren't coming down the M4, were you?
yeah. We were late, so we weren't able to leave off by the time we got there. Got through that main function. Thanks, guys. Ready? No. Thanks, team.
Sarah.
Just stay there. Can we just have a picture of you both, please? Just quickly.
Here goes. Get yourself a drink, I'll catch you later.
I'll just buy some first class. I'll just like some first class. They come out much. You look a bit pretentious, though. Just
What a silly thing to do.
I know. It's all planned. It's a family tradition, isn't it? Yeah, family tradition. Think if I get a note. Yeah, exactly. You see what teacups they look lovely. Oh, I haven't seen teacups. Dear old Sharon's done well with the little bows and the little yeah, no, I know. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? You see on the we were here last night frantically setting it up that just softening it a bit. So it's a bit that way is beautiful, but the actual building yeah, no, she has done this lovely. I just can't believe how unnerved you were just sort of like, alright, let's get on with it. Then we heard about the crash, didn't we? Oh, yeah, don't tell Sarah about the crash. Yeah, and she comes in and closed junction 17. So we rang all the people up there coming on the M4 and then don't tell Sarah, don't tell Sarah. So that way she comes in and says, you heard about the crash?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we got it.
He's thinking of the money.
We can reach up to that. With the new son-in-law, right? Happy 3. Good. Done.
Can we have the break? Formal shot.
Come on.
Okay.
You want to go down?
Quickly, we'll never get you again. Quick. Come on, we all need a drink. Come on, get together. Turn around, Claire. I mean, Sarah. Brilliant.
Let's go for it, guys. Actually, a bit further over. Didn't get that. And then close to me. And then everyone. Can everybody gather round Tom and Sarah? Everybody! Is she your friend? No. Do you want to sit on that bit? Some of the family, can you all just move over that way a bit more? Can you move over that way? Can you move over that way?
Stick some more.
Jackie?
Nobody's listening, you sit more.
You're not meant to be in that one. My friends just are you hiding? No? Good. Lovely, thank you so much. That's great. Now all the stacks. Tom and all the stacks. What's that handsome one? I like how he's got lovely. Lovely, thank you. Now all of Sarah's family extended arms and uncles.
Katie!
Someone hit it.
Granny. Stop standing in front of you.
Everything? Yeah, you guys. Just come in and order this right now. Sorry guys. That's lovely guys. That's really lovely, thank you. And if we could have Di, Tony, Claire, Mark, Adam and Katie. Lovely, that's brilliant. Lovely, thank you. I just died Tony and Granny with you guys. Is Granny? We're going to fall over. Brilliant. And now with your mum and dad, yeah. Thank you, Granny. And that's it for yours. Let me sort of do. Sorry, I'm not cuddle you again. Tom.
Trees and Barry.
Teresa Margot. No, Tony.
You've had enough. Get out.
Lovely, that's great. And if we can have Tom again, David, David, Hilda, Sam, John and Peter. Yes. Where's Suzanne? Hilda. David, Hilda, Sam, John and Peter. Perfect. Thank you.
I've tried to do it. When you've got a little bit of fun. Even if it isn't a chair.
We'll see you later on, okay?
It's a man. Hi, Martin.
He's a man, oh, well.
No, he doesn't.
Feel alright?
Oh yeah, but we'll do something out anyway.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everyone for coming, especially those that have travelled an awfully long way. We've got people here this evening from Germany, from Qatar, from Japan, and from Australia. And even our esteemed best man here landed from South America, what, 2 days ago? And looking a bit like it too. He's standing up really well because I know he's very, very tired. It's always a pleasure to be surrounded by family and friends, and we're particularly delighted to have Granny here today, as Tom and Sarah's remaining grandparent, and effectively head of our family, so it's great to have you. Right, before I get into this, I need to know where the bookies are. I need to... what do you want? 4 minutes? Hurry up! I know 10 wants about 7 minutes. No chance. The last time I spoke at a wedding was actually Mal and Joy and John and Fizz's weddings about 35 years ago, 34 years ago.
33.
33. So it's not something I do every day. So like most people, when you start to panic, I look for inspiration online. And there's quite a lot of material online, as you know, all sorts of stuff there. It's going to be a toss-up between either unbearably slushy, tear-jerking public professions of love for my darling daughter, or some kind of tasteless stand-up comedy act. Well, I've prepared both. Would you like slushy, or would you like tasteless? So predictable. Actually, I've done neither. Because I wouldn't want to embarrass my darling daughter here, or say anything inappropriate. Actually, my job today is really dead simple. It's to give my daughter away, to give you all a good time, and to pick up the tab. Have a good time.
Very well.
On the second point, I've thought about this quite a lot, and I've decided I'm not actually going to give Sarah away. Instead, I'm going to invoice Tom tomorrow. Actually, for those of you who once owned up to being bankers, like myself, I see it more as a debt swap. Tom is now the principal, but I remain committed lifelong. Actually, to be fair to Sarah, she's extremely good with the numbers, better than the rest of us now. And very good spreadsheets too, you know. You've seen the traffic that was going between us in preparation for this. Excellent spreadsheets. I'm just hoping that her influence now at the Crown Estates will result in a knighthood for me. I know she's got to get a little bit more senior before that comes to pass. Okay, a word about Sarah, because that's what you have to do at these events. I know she's so worried what I'm going to say. Don't worry, darling. She was a very happy baby, something of a bubbly bundle, I reckon. Tended very caringly by her older sister. And both in turn looked after their baby brother. Very, very caring, both of them. Sarah was very good at school, and as she neared her A-levels and subsequently her finals, she seemed to be developing a very, what I describe as focused attitude to achieving her goals. And she did, and that's led to 3 very good professional jobs so far with the Barbican Paramount and now Crown Estates, as most of you know. She showed the same focus when she and Linda went abroad and travelled, and even went to school to learn Mandarin, didn't you? Yeah. However, her interviewing skills did need a little bit of honing. One or two of you may have heard this story before. Sarah was keen to get a bit of mock interviewing with her father, who at the time did work in HR for his company. So we arranged to meet in our dining room at 10:30 a.m. I even put a suit and tie on. I sat down and waited for her. She arrived. She sloped in. Cup of tea, because she's an avid tea drinker, as you may well have realised. And I think she was even still wearing her pyjamas. At this point, it was obviously that she thought it was a bit of a giggle going on. So I rescheduled the interview for 11 o'clock. I told her to turn up properly dressed and properly prepared. She did, to her credit. And we had a very professional, business-like interview. And it was concluded in the appropriate way. What I don't know is whether that experience has actually helped or hindered her subsequently. What I do know is that she's told that story a few times and thought it was pretty amusing back then. I guess what all of this has taught me about Sarah is that she can be both a vulnerable little girl and a highly focused professional businesswoman. She's a very skillful young lady. Without stealing Dan's thunder, because I've got to say a few words about Tom. I mean, we've known you for some while now. About 4,500 days. In fact, their first meeting, date I suppose, was in the last millennium, December 1999. But Tom very kindly invited me on his stag party. Thank you very much. I was privileged to be invited to that. All I can say, because you can't share all the secrets, is that Bude will simply not be the same. After being invaded by a group of seagull-hugging, surfboard-riding, Jägermeister-shooting, test-match-playing Baywatch babes. This lot are a bunch of fun when you get together with them. However, what goes on tour stays on tour. I do have photographic evidence for a small fee. Tom, as you know, is currently being very dynamic in his new job as a hospital doctor, working, what, up to 17 hours a day on some pretty grueling shifts. But it took him 11 years to ask Sarah's hand in marriage. On the day he did approach me, which was last Christmas, I knew what was coming long before Tom managed to. Like a glass of red wine whilst we go through this. We did get there in the end. It was a very special moment. I enjoyed that very much. Mind you, as many of you probably know, Sarah has always vowed that she would never marry a student. I can tell you now the stress that went through this family, and Francis, I'm sure, when we were waiting for Tom's final results. This wedding was very much on the edge for a while. However, Tom came through with flying colours, and here we all are enjoying today. Di and I are very happy to welcome Tom into the Hooper clan, and to be joining forces with the Morris family. Mary and Tom's sisters, Bex and Ellie. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of good fun together over the years to come. So, great to be part of it. Helping Sarah and Tom prepare for today has been a family affair. Di, I have to mention, with a legendary organisation support. Mark as a groomsman, thank you. And as you'll see later, a talented musician. Claire, I don't know how you got up and did that reading. That was very good with your current predicament. Hen weekend organiser, table dresser. They had a lot to do with what is on your tables today and the planning out there with the table plan. Very good stuff. For me, what did I do? Very little, really. I hated the church ratings in this banking. And I've applied to a credit card company for a further round of but apart from that, very little. At this stage, how am I doing? Because I've been really stressed out. At this stage, I suppose I offer some advice. But frankly, I don't think you need it. The fact is, you two have known each other since you were, what, 16 and a half and 18, or just about 18. And you've effectively grown up together. You've travelled the world, and you know each other inside out. You're true soulmates, I think I would describe you as, and as close as any couple I could think of. However, there are a couple of things I would just like to offer you. One is very simple. I think marriage is like wine. It improves with age. So you've got that to look forward to. The other one is a very, very simple maxim. Whenever you're wrong, admit it. Whenever you're right, shut up. And so I will. But before I do, I just want a quick word about our chosen venue. I'm sure you all know that this part of the world is designated an area of outstanding natural beauty, and fortunately we have the weather for you to see that today. Well, the view is pretty spectacular, but even that has been eclipsed by my beautiful daughter and her fabulous crew that we're looking at today. Di and I feel so very proud and very happy. I'll make that about 8.5 minutes. Come on. Anyway, it is time to be upstanding with your glasses, please. Toast. The toast is Mr. and Mrs. Tom and Sarah Morris, a long and happy life together.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony, for your kind words. I'm going to try and draw this out because smart money's on 21 minutes. I know there's some over there 40, someone went to 60, that's outrageous. But obviously, before I start, the first thing I'd like to say is, my wife and I... Wow, I can't believe we've got to this stage.
And I'm still
But
quite...
it means so much to us that we're surrounded by so many of our close friends, family. It's, you know, it means so much to us. And that you've all made such an effort to get here. It really does touch me. So, thank you all for coming and being here with us today. Now, I do have a tendency to ramble. So, I know there's bets riding, so I'm going to try and be succinct, but no guarantees. So what can I say first of all about my beautiful wife? Apart from the obvious, you look absolutely stunning today. And I couldn't be prouder to call myself your husband. It has been a long time in coming. As Tony said, you know, we had a few caveats. But we got there in the end. And as we move forward, I can't wait for our next stage of life together. It's going to be pretty exciting. And obviously we've had so much growing up together, and obviously the next stage is growing old together. And I can't wait for that time.
Old together.
No, I didn't say there was going to be many jokes in the It's going to be succinct. So obviously, the next people I have to thank, and this is from the bottom of our hearts, not just mine, I'm speaking on behalf of Sarah as well, and that's to our parents. Where would we be without you guys? We'd just like to thank you for everything that you do for us, and everything you have done for us, and we still do. So thank you.
I was hoping for a check.
These are just little tokens just for the mums. We've got something proper, we'll save that for tomorrow. There's not time. So I'd just like to just a special thank you to Tony and Di, not only for today, but for making me feel so welcome in the family. Ever since when we were first together, before mobile phones. When we used to communicate via each other's dad's email address. Each other on landline. It's a different era, and obviously we grow with that. But right from the first, I knew how close Sarah was to her mum. And I can honestly say that Di's selflessness and kindness has definitely rubbed off on Sarah. I just hope that the colouring genius will come with time. But, you know, we've got a life together now. And Tony, Sarah brings obviously great attributes that you have as well to our relationship. Such as your generosity, your family values, and obviously your ability to not suffer fools lightly. Before anyone says or thinks anything, yes, I am a damned fine actor. And where would I be without my parents? I'd like to think that I bring some of my parents' attributes to our relationship as well. So, I think I bring my mum's drive, her commitment, and her strength to our relationship. From my dad, I'd like to think I bring in his sense of humour, his competitiveness, and obviously his financial sense. I'm pretty sure that was probably a typo. But having had such great role models in your parents, I think, in our parents, bodes incredibly well for us to be, having seen what a loving, amazing relationship you guys have, and you've had for such a long time, bodes so well for us. So, thank you for being such great role models. We hope to live up to your expectations. Now I've got written down give out presents for the but we'll do the rest tomorrow. The next person promised me that I wouldn't embarrass her tonight. Tony's already mentioned her. But it's someone who's very kind, someone who's very understated, and it's of course the matriarch of the family that we've really spoken about. I'd just like to say thank you so much to Granny, 1 for joining us on Head Table today, 2 for being here, and 3 thank you for the beautiful flowers.
Yeah.
So thank you to Granny. As Kenny said, Granny's the only grandparent we've got here today, but fortunately we've been dating so long we've met all of our I hope they approve, obviously, of what's happened today. How am I doing this one? I think I'm on page 2, so it's alright. Page 2 of 2. But there is still a few more people I need to say thank you to. First of all, my ushers. You're all scattered around. But guys, you look absolutely dashing. It's an absolute travesty to all the single ladies in the house that you've already spoken to. I need to say thank you, not only for what you've done today, you've done an exceptional job getting everyone ready, everyone's been prodded in the back with a cane. You've done a spectacular job, it's not just now. Thank you so much for organising my stag do, which I think was probably pretty amazing. The photographs suggest it was. And also just being such great friends over the years, so thank you to my ushers. The ushers need to say a special thanks to Ian for designing the leaflet, which I thought... yourself on the scale, but I think there's definitely a niche in the market for Ian's talent, so thank you so much, mate. And also thanks to Mark, who's organised obviously all the music today. It was in the background, and also he's super organised all the band for tonight, and I hope you enjoy them because they are awesome. And obviously, well would it be without thanking my best man. A better description in terms I couldn't come up with. You truly are the best man. Absolute definition in terms, mate. But I would obviously like to just get a quick disclaimer. He's talking next. As you know, he's just returned from South America, and he could well be suffering with jungle fever. I take whatever he says with a pinch of salt. He may not be in his right mind. And also, I don't want to cook up any revenge stories because we've had a few over the years. Just have to say a special thank you as well to Sarah's work girls for organising her work hen do. She's asked me to thank you especially. She had a fantastic time. The drawings that she brought home. She went to a still life class, and Sarah was slightly embarrassed about drawing certain parts of the anatomy, so we've got some interesting shading out of it. Thanks for organising that, guys. Not at all awkward. And then also I need to thank Sarah's bridesmaids. So thank you to Nikki, Lisa and Linda. You guys look absolutely beautiful as well today. And you've done an absolutely amazing job getting her ready for today. Getting her here, holding her through, helping her through today. So thank you for that. And also thank you for organising and sorting out a hen do, and in that I obviously include Claire. Sarah obviously wants me to thank you especially as well. You've done an amazing job, and she thanks you so much for organising everything, the table plan, the reading today is absolutely beautiful. So thank you. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. So on that note, I'd like you to please stand. I'd like to take, ladies and gentlemen, the bridesmaids.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Hoopers and Morrises, friends and family. For those who don't know me, my name is Dan, and I'm the best man. I've known the groom for over 20 years of my life. And in that time, he's been my classmate, my housemate, my teammate, my captain, my counsellor, my drinking buddy, but without fail, the most best and reliable friend a man could want. And although the nerds might not be allowing me to show it, I'm very proud to be standing here giving this speech today. a resource for the support and advice of my life. It wasn't so long ago, we were out on the golf course, and I was talking him through a little love life problem I was having. I'd started dating a girl, and I quite liked her. And I was telling him, I didn't know what to do, I didn't know how much she liked me, and I turned to him, and he'd clearly been listening very intently. And he gave me some of the best advice a man has ever been given. He said, mate, I take a 9-iron. Needless to say, the girl was a bit surprised when I turned up to the date with the golf club. There it goes. Before I indulge in some playful character assassination of the groom, there's a few very important things I'd like to say. Firstly, it's already been said 100, maybe 200, maybe 300 times today, but that's because it's true. Sarah, you look absolutely stunning today. Yeah. I'd also like to accept the toast on behalf of the bridesmaids, so thank you, Tom, for your kind words. Very nice of you. I was actually going to read out the bridesmaid's name, but I weren't had fun with it, so thank you from the bridesmaids. I've actually pondered for a long time who Tom would end up marrying. I mean, it's been no surprise, we've been together for a long time, but there was a bit of me when I was about 15 years old when I wondered who he would marry, and I wasn't the only one. My mum, who had the dubious honour of teaching him A-level geography, also pondered the question, and she once told me, and I remember the words quite a long time ago, she's saying Tom would need someone who was a lot of fun, but someone who knew how to manage him. Only as the years have gone on have I understood what that has meant. I've got 2 emails which landed in my inbox at work on Monday the 17th of November 2010, which kind of proved that point. The first one was from Mr. Tom Morris. Email at 9:56 a.m. Hey mate, how are you doing? I'm still feeling a bit hungover from Saturday. Cheers for a great night. Not sure I can do beers on Wednesday for the footy. Got some crappy exam next week I need to pull my finger out for. And I should probably spend some time with hoops. How about beers on Friday instead? I'll see if the beast is about too. Later, Snake Eyes, Tom. Email at 9:59 a.m. from Sarah Hooper. Hi Dan, thanks again for Saturday night. It was a lovely meal. I've been thinking about your personal finances. You might already do this, but attached is a spreadsheet which shows how much of your monthly salary you should be saving, how much you should spend on food and rent, etc., and how much you can spend on having fun. It's best to pay for day-to-day things on credit cards and then just direct debit all expenses from your account on a monthly basis. This helps build up your credit rating. Have a good week. See you soon, Sarah. Never is the maxim behind every great man lies a To paint a clearer picture of Mr. Morris, for those who don't know him, I thought I'd kick off with some fast facts. There's only 5, but they're quite quick. So, fast fact number 1. Tom's full title is now officially Dr. Tom Barry Morris. Yay! I need to clear up the rumours that there's no connection between the timing of Tom finishing his last exam and the Guardian's headline the next day, which read, Lansley assures GPs, NHS not in crisis. Fast fact number 2. Tom has read the Lords of the Ring trilogy twice, whilst on the loo. Fast fact number 3. Dr. Morris knows a great deal about the breeding patterns of Canadian geese. Fast fact number 4. Tom's favourite boxer shorts are a luminous pink. Now, there's lots of facts that I thought I'd omit for the sake of both time and Tom's pride. These included... Tom forgot to send wedding invites to 2 of his 3 ushers. Tom has been known to play football in a tiger skin thong, which wasn't Sarah's. Tom once mistook the corner of his bedroom for the bathroom. Sorry, I should probably go for the figures, shouldn't I? Tom once mistook the corner of the airing cupboard. Tom is the only man I've ever met who has set his own flatulence on fire. Anyway, enough toilet humour. I would like to reassure everyone in the room that Tom has everything it takes to be a wonderful and great husband to Sarah. it would. The first thing that Tom has in abundance is commitment, be it to his friends, his sports team, his studies, obviously to Sarah, but also down to the simple things in life, like wearing shorts. Not only are we lucky enough to be here today to witness the marriage of two wonderful people, we're also witnessing the first time since 1997 that Dr. Morris has been seen in public wearing full-length trousers. Time of the day, the season of the year, or the formality occasion, you can rely on Tom to turn up wearing shorts. In fact, when he became a doctor, he was absolutely devastated to find out that the S in NHS does not stand for shorts. But I too am a fan of the exposed calf mate, and I wouldn't be doing my duty as the best man if I didn't think of your comfort on your big day. So, with a bit of help from my beautiful assistant Beamer, in case you need them for your first ad, as I already mentioned, Tom showed a lot of commitment to the football team over the years, and there's a lot of his teammates here tonight. Tom bills himself as the midfield general of the Icy Old Boys second 11, who currently play in the Wimbledon District Division 2. Now, if whining like a girl for 90 minutes every Saturday at your own team is what makes a great general, Tom's self-billing is entirely fair. But it hasn't been easy over the last few years for Tom to balance his commitment to his football with his commitment to his studies, and it was indeed a very brave decision for Tom to go back and study, to become a doctor. Something he didn't take very lightly, and I agree with him. I mean, there's not a man here who shouldn't have to earn their first paycheck before the age of 30. But on a serious note, I utterly admire your decision to go back and do that, because chasing your dream isn't always easy, and I know how much it's meant to you, so congratulations. However, it has meant sacrifice to the lovely couple. No more so than for Sarah struggling to pay for Tom's drinking habit. But to be fair to Tom, he's done his bit to help the social budget stretch as far as possible. For those who know Tom well, they know that Tom loves playing football, but secondly, he also loves post-drinking. From 4 o'clock onwards on most Saturday afternoons throughout the autumn and winter, Tom can be found in a given pub in the Wimbledon district area, enjoying a few pints of lager or occasionally something a bit tangier. And to save the pennies, Tom will... don't worry, I'm not going there. Don't worry, I'm not going there, don't worry. But as they get excited, they tend to think about going out for a night, and they go out to a club and they invite Tom out. But Tom will be sensible and say, no lads, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go home, I'm going to maturely get the last tube. I'm going to save money on not having a kebab, I'm not going to pay club entries, I'm not going to get an expensive taxi home. Now, if you ask many Londoners what Totteridge and Whetstone and Pladstow have in common, they will say that they are tube stations in Zone 6 of the London Underground system. Whilst this is technically correct, the actual answer is they are all tube stations in which Tom has found himself host the tube service in a drunken stupor, having to find enough money to get an expensive taxi ride home. Indeed, Tom has always loved to travel. But not only is Tom a committed kind of guy, he's also a die-hard romantic. For those who are a bit sensitive and might like a cry, now is a good time to reach for the tissues. I have a few anecdotes which show what a die-hard romantic this man truly is, and how Sarah can expect a lifetime of just generous gestures throughout. The first story is how Tom and Sarah met. It was a cold December night in 1999. It was the Wellsway School sixth form Christmas party, and we were partying like it was, well, 1999. Myself, the groom, and Mr. Wiltshire over there, as biblically as the three shepherds. I'm not quite sure why Sarah was there, actually. She didn't go to our school. I'm pretty sure she didn't leave the house that night expecting to meet the man of her dreams, but you never know. As I remember it, we entered the club, and Tom, being the hormonal 18-year-old he was at the time, saw a table of about 7 girls that he didn't recognise and made a beeline for it. Sarah, sat in the corner of this remote little dingy club, watched as Tom pretty much scared off all 6 of us until he reached the girl that he'd been wanting to talk to all night. Sarah, however, cowered as the shepherd opened up with one of the best lines I've ever heard before. You have to excuse my poor impressions of Tom and Sarah at this stage. Tom, who the hell are you, and what the hell are you doing at my party? Sarah what? Hooper. Hooper? What, like Hooper's Hooch? Man, I love the orange flavour. Not as much as I love beer, but it does get you drunk. Yeah. So where are you from? I live in a village called Ugly. You live in a place called Ugly. No, Ugly, not ugly. Yeah, whatever. So, one of the greatest romance of our ages was born. And if that doesn't prove that Tom was romantic, you should hear about the time he decided to whisk Sarah away for a weekend in Italy. It was about 4 years ago, and I'm pretty sure there's not a woman in here who wouldn't indulge in the idea of their respective men whisking them away for a long weekend in the country of food and love. And Sarah was no different, she was quite excited from what I remember. They were destined to fly to Turin. Unfortunately, and according to Tom, due to no fault of his own, they missed their flight from Luton Airport. And I think it's fair to say there's not a woman in here who doesn't consider a day touring around Toys R Us in Luton Disney, followed by a slap-up meal in Luton's finest beef eater, as one of the greatest dates there ever got. But if that's not enough to convince you that Tom's a true romantic, you should hear the story of the first time that Tom bought Sarah flowers. Oh my God. This goes back to December 2002, and our young hero was turning 21. Myself and Dr. Alex Swales, who's somewhere in the room, decided that what Tom really needed was a visit from a stripper. In retrospect, this wasn't a great decision. Alex kindly went and booked a lady called Roly Poly Lucy, who billed herself as 20 stone of Hammersmith's finest beef. Unfortunately, Roly Poly Lucy double booked herself and sent a petite Filipino lady in her place. Before we knew it, Tom was in his boxer shorts, in his kitchen, covered in whipped cream, being spanked by the wrong end of a cricket bat. Most people have blocked that image out of their mind. And I think so with Tom. That was until, a few months later, Sarah found the photos. Knowing that he was probably in the wrong on this one, Tom decided it was time to really pull out the stops and do something very special. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the heartwarming story of how Sarah received her first budget flower. For those that were listening intently, which admittedly might not be many of you, Tom bought Sarah her first bunch of flowers in the year 2003. However, they got together in 1999. Now, I've done the maths on this. That means that Sarah can expect to receive 20 bunches of flowers in her lifetime from Tom. But that does assume two things. Firstly, that Sarah lives to the grand old age of 100. And secondly, that garage forecourts continue to sell flowers. I think that's not enough laughs at Tom's expense. And I'd like to end with some much truer and some much more important words. I don't want to stand here and wax lyrical because I'll just end up choking, but Tom is genuinely the most loyal, the most funny, the most intelligent, and the most something great bloke to hang around with. And I know for a fact that there is not a person in here who knows him well who does not agree. And it fills me with happiness to know that he's found someone as lovely as Sarah to share his life with. And I cannot wait to watch you grow old together. It's going to be great fun. So it is with the most utmost pride that I ask you to charge your glasses and join me in the last toast of the evening to Tom and Sarah, to two of my dearest friends, Mr. and Mrs. Morris.
Cheers.
Right.